Tonight we wanted to deviate a little bit, and I've got a sort of a special treat, I think, for you, in that we all have been totally aligned with cardiovascular care and directed on how that relates to our region and then to our world. But we really have had a resource here that we've never availed ourselves of, and you've seen her at all the meetings, but I'm not sure how many of you know exactly what she does and how it's truly impacting on our world. So I thought what we would do is, while you all are finishing your dinner, I wanted to introduce Amakampa Freedom Gupta Fonner. We know her as Freedom Fonner. Freedom came to the United States in 2014 and was a graduate receiving her master's in public administration at the Maxwell School of Public Affairs at Syracuse. She began at 17 years old, just a little girl, with an environmental group with almost her first invention, and now she has progressed and has her own company, Designs by Freedom, doing really revolutionary and very inventive things that, at least from my perspective, are world-changing. But I felt like to have her here and not avail ourselves of her mind and what she's done and her energy will change how the next time you go into Starbucks, it will change what you do when you're there. So with that in mind, Freedom, thank you for being with us, and welcome, as always, and have at 'em.
Thank you for having me. I'm running around managing dinner, right? I don't know how the computer works here. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me. Once a day every quarter, I have this privilege of spending the day with all of you. I have never met a more committed, dedicated, kind, and honestly cool set of people. The last few years has been an absolute privilege knowing and learning about the VCSQI family. So thank you again for the work you do. It makes so much impact on how people, individuals, receive healthcare. And every quarter, it is on that one day that my mission and vision is to ensure the best experience that it can be for all of you. With that said, the rest of the days in this quarter, I do a little bit more. I'm the chief imagineer and CEO of a San Francisco-based invention company called Design by Freedom. Our mission is to make trash history, eliminate it from the face of this planet. It is not very different from what you do in the world of healthcare. You eradicate diseases, right? When you find strands of epidemics in populations, when there is a polio, for example, you work to eliminate it. Nobody ever has to suffer from it. That's the story of trash and the American trash crises. But it's a little bit different from other epidemics in the world of healthcare. It's different because we don't know about it. We don't understand the nature of this crisis. We don't know where we are headed. We don't know what actions we take every day that create this and impact not just the United States, but the world around us. A little bit of context before we dive in to problem-solving mode. And that context is, us Americans are the largest producers of trash in the world. At 4.4 pounds per person per day, we are the biggest creators of trash, and that is according to the EPA. When you look at independent sources, that number goes up to over 7 pounds per person per day. That's a lot of waste. We're about 325 million people in our country, and collectively, that is about 262.4 million tons of trash produced annually. Compare it to a country like China. with 1.3 billion people, and the annual trash is 191.42 million tons. That's a huge difference. There is something that is happening right inside our homes, inside our offices, inside our hospitals that we don't know about, and that is the hidden belly of our trash crises. And recycling is not going to solve that problem. We've been told to reduce, reuse, and recycle. The problem is that the waste streams are broken. As it stands right now in 2018, we do not have a system to manage waste. Up until this year, January 1 of 2018, we used to ship our trash to China. In 2016, 16 million tons of our waste was exported to China, and that's just one country. We don't know what to do with this. This is so much waste. And we've been told to quote unquote put things in bins and some magical trash fairy is going to take care of it. Again, doesn't work like that. And I share this just to set a context for how to solve this problem. But the facts are that 74% of all glass in our country is never recycled. 33% of cardboard and paper is never recycled. 66% of metals that we throw away in our trash can every single day, they're not recycled. 91% of plastics are not recycled. Recyclable does not mean anything. There's so much complexity in the back end of recycling for something to actually figure out its end of life that these words are incomplete. And this has created a wreck. All of these are pieces of waste that were found inside the body of one albatross. This is all the waste in the body of one albatross. It was reported by the National Geographic magazine this year. If you go forward, this is another instance of what is happening to our marine life. So this trash that we are all creating, it is in our public lands, it is in our public waters, it's inside our national parks. Eddie and I had the opportunity to spend 4 months in Alaska this year. And the remotest parts of our country, in villages of Alaska, where 30 people live in winter and 300 people live in summer, there are trucks and trucks and trucks of trash that are moving waste around from one corner to the other to either burn it or to either send it to the lower 48 or to put it in a vessel and it'll go from Pacific Ocean, if not to China, to India, to some other part of the world, just because we produce so much waste. And you know Dr. Spear, right? He's not a guy who's going to let the status quo be. So my job here is not to create a picture of gloom and doom, right? It is to find answers. And as I said, there is no one better to find answers with than this collaborative, than the VCSQI. So Albert, our friend Einstein, said, imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Logic will take us from A to Z, but imagination will take us everywhere. And I want you to think about our country's trash crises as a problem of imagination. I want you to think about it as an error of design. Why the heck do we make things that have to be ended up inside landfills? Why don't we think about the end of life of products? Consumer goods, electronics, the shoes I'm wearing, the blazer I'm wearing, what you're wearing on your hand, every single thing that you use as an error of design. What if we made things, reimagined things, re-engineered things, really redid everything to be entirely free of waste? That's the answer to our trash problem. It is not to leave it in somebody else's hands. It's not to create things that will have to be recycled in an aspirational world with someone who's in some other part of the country or the world. It is to radically rethink the way we make things in the very design and manufacturing phases. With that, we are on a mission to make trash history. And this mission is 100 inventions by 2025 to move every American household to a future that is free of waste. And I'm going to share an example with you on how this is relevant to all of us. So, right now, as things stand, we need a transition, we need a roadmap, we need a way to get from point A to something that is not just point Z, but beyond. Maybe a point infinity for zero waste. And let's go exploring. So I'll share two stories with you. One story is a story of right here, right now, the VCSQI. The last 4 VCSQI meetings, we have worked extremely closely with a back-end staff of 4 Points Sheraton and Boar's Head to ensure that every meal that is served in a durable and not a disposable. We've been able to eliminate certain types of waste. There is still work that needs to be done, but we have been successful in ensuring mugs are used as against single-use cups. Water is served in those carafes rather than plastic water bottles. Or metal stirrers are offered instead of using single-use stirrers. So we've done this. We're making progress. Today's meeting, we produced five types of waste. And the goal would be that in the next meeting, we're able to address these 5 types of waste. So today's big waste were tea bags, honey containers, sugar packets, soda cans, and butter wrappers. Just a side note. I share this because there is an opportunity as an action item. Every time you dine in, you're sitting in a place which has a roof and 4 walls. Please request for a reusable instead of a disposable. Ask, can they serve you in a real plate with real silverware that can be washed? That's an action item that we have personally implemented here and are trying to succeed at. The second piece is perhaps a little bit more interesting maybe because it speaks to the heart of invention, the heart of redesign. And this is just one example. So every day, 40 million of these simple-looking, seemingly inconspicuous cardboard coffee sleeves are discarded in our country. And this is just one type of waste. So that is about 14 billion sleeves annually, leading to 2.8 billion pounds of cardboard waste. If you stack them back to back, they would wrap the earth 5 times. And this is just from our country right now. So the way we think about design and redesign at the Design by Freedom Labs is, how do we make things simple for people to succeed at an action? Remember, there is a deeper context here. Under 2% of all coffee drinking Americans never bring their mug in a cafe. We've not built reuse behavior. So how do we take steps to get there? We invented, again an example, something called the Freedom Sleeve in a list of 100, which is obviously a coffee sleeve for hot or cold drinks, but it's multifunctional in that you can put it on your bag as a bag tag, so you never forget to carry it, or just put it on your keychain. Everybody's walking around with keys, or use it as a laptop wire tie. Just something that you can integrate in your everyday life and start making reuse a part of that everyday action for reducing waste. It is made out of starch. You can use it for at least a year. When you graduate from it, you can compost it in your backyard or give it back to us. Everything is broken down and new materials are used. It comes with a waste-free packaging. This card has 7 seeds inside it. 10% of all the trash that we create is packaging waste. So innovative packaging solutions like these, where you snap things off and put them in a flower pot. Again, this is just one example. I guess I share these 2 examples in the hope that there is an opportunity to continue these conversations where you're going back, your hospitals, your offices, your homes, because this is one thing that everybody can do something about. I feel very strongly about a lot of things, but not always do I have the opportunity to touch those things and make a difference. Something might be intellectual, Something might be international policy, something is about borders, something might be about something completely different that I have no influence over. But the trash that we create inside our homes every single day, it's happening right under our noses. And there is an opportunity to rethink it. With that, there is no planet B, and there is no plan B. So, as you think about the health of the people that you serve, I hope there is an opportunity to tie it to this little ball on which all life depends. The health of this planet and the health of this people, our people, goes hand in hand. I hope to continue the dialogue. Thank you again for having me, and it's truly a pleasure to be here.